As you can see, there's not really a lot in the box. Now, typically, this is what Samsung reserves for their flagship lineup. Last gen with the Galaxy S20, there were no chargers in the box. But with the S20 FE, we got a 15-watt charger. But this time around, seems like the S21 FE is more flagship, so we don't get a charger. But then again, in some markets, at least initially, Samsung is providing the chargers like separately out of the box. So over here in the Middle East, if you look at it on Samsung's website, you buy this phone, you get a 25-watt charger, a smart case, and a pair of buds too. Now, I got this from a third party, I mean, not directly from the Samsung website. I still got the charger extra. This is something we've typically seen in the past, right? When initially when they cut chargers out of a box, brands end up providing it separately, and then they cut it out once a certain number of sales are done. That kind of helps them keep the negativity down surrounding it. But anyways, apart from the charger not being there, this phone has a lot going for it. The pricing, we will get to it. But for now, let's turn the S21 FE on and see everything that Samsung done here. My name is Ash, you're watching C4E Tech. If you end up liking this video, like this video. Let's get started. Now first off, let's start with the build. Given the S21 has a polycarbonate back, I would have been surprised if this had anything else. No surprises, this is plastic too, but it's a matte finish, so it feels quite nice in hand. The sides still, the rim is still metal, so it's got quite a bit of a premium feel when you actually pick it up and use. But given that the back is plastic, the weight has been kept manageable at around 175 grams. So it's a little friendly to use single-handed. But then now the back here, this camera array that you see, this with the S21, it was metal. It kind of extended from the rim. But over here, it's more of an extension of the back. So this one's plastic too. That's the major change from the S21. Now, barring that, it still feels very S21, as in feels like a premium Samsung flagship phone. Now guys, from a color perspective, as a YouTuber, you generally don't get to pick and choose what you want. The color you get is the one that's available. But this time, fortunately, I was able to get the color that I actually wanted. This olive green, it actually looks the best according to me. Samsung also offers 3 other color variants in lavender, white, and graphite. So what do you guys think? Which one's your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. Now flip the phone around and you're still going to be impressed, because this display, it's 6.4 inches. It's a little larger than what you'd get on the S21. It's a hell of a panel. It's AMOLED. It's 120 Hertz. It's got HDR support. And as you can see, it's pretty bright. Now I'm directly opposite of the sun. And as you can see, even when I'm reflecting, you can still see that it's pretty bright. It's a very bright panel. It's covered by Corning's Gorilla Glass Victus. So protection is done. Talking about protection, we've got IP68 water and dust resistance. Now this here is a speaker, and the earpiece doubles as a speaker too. So we have a stereo audio output. There is no headphone jack or micro SD here. Now I do understand the kind of direction Samsung's heading in, why they omitted, but this is a fan edition after all. So maybe they could have made an exception for that. Now under the hood, the S21 FE, it's powered by the Exynos 2100 SOC. Now initial reports indicated that they were going to use Snapdragon 888 everywhere, and personally I feel that would have been much better, especially in markets where they've been selling Exynos. This could have been an alternate option. So hey, you could get the S21, but if you want 888, you could probably go for the FE. It could have been an alternative like that, but sadly that's not the case. All the markets where they sold the Exynos, the FE is also going to be Exynos. Wherever they sold 888, it's still going to be 888. So any which ways, now apart from that, we've got 6 or 8 gigs of DDR5 RAM, 128 or 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. Now one thing worth noting is that in some markets the base is 6/128, in others it's 8/128. The top SKU is unanimously 8/256. Okay, now moving on to software, this is something I found very, very intriguing. Now this phone runs on One UI 4 built on top of Android 12. And Samsung's also said that their flagship phones are going to be getting 3 major Android updates and 4 years of security patches. Now this is something they seem to be treating as a flagship phone, right? Though it's a fan edition, they've removed the charger and all that, so it seems to be a pure flagship. In which case, is this going to get 3 Android updates? We don't have clarity on it yet, but if this one ended up getting 3 Android updates, then that would be one more than what the current S21s are getting. Because the S21 series, they launched on Android 11, whereas this is launched on Android 12. So yeah, Probably it's not gonna get that extra update, but I would like to know. If you guys read up on anything, if you guys have any information, any official confirmation from Samsung that you've come across, let me know in the comments below. I'd really love to know more about this. Now, as far as the software is concerned, it's a pleasure to use One UI 4 Android 12 on this phone. Given the flagship hardware, no issues whatsoever. The thing just flies. Don't even worry about performance. It's top of the line as expected. Okay, so far we've seen build, display, specs, software. Let's now talk optics. Now, the first two sensors, 12 megapixels, they seem very similar to what's on the other S21 phones. Two 12 megapixel sensors, the primary with optical stabilization, the secondary is ultra wide. As you can see, the images, they turned out great. The dynamic range, as always with Samsung flagships, it's exceptional. Just look at the sun in these shots. Even under low light, it continued to impress. I didn't spend a lot of time shooting with this, but it was fun. There's a lot of detail, the colors are on point, even under challenging conditions. Now, given this is a fan edition, there is a little bit of corner cutting going on, and that starts with that third sensor. So instead of having that 64 megapixel sensor that they used on other S21 phones, this one instead gets an 8 megapixel 3x optical lens though. But because of the lack of the 64 megapixel, we can't get 8K footage. Though the chip supports it, there is no camera hardware that's capable of getting 8K. So instead, we are going to have to settle for 4K 60, and that footage, as you can see, is flawless. I absolutely adore it. Samsung's flagship cameras are some of the best when it comes to shooting video. So there's really not a lot to complain. Now, this is not the only corner cut. We've seen the plastic here. Now, apart from this, the fingerprint scanner, instead of ultrasonic, it's optical. But to me, that doesn't seem to make a lot of difference because it's still extremely fast. Now, if you remember a few years back, Samsung on the optical scanners, it was BS, it was so slow, but now they've come a long way. It's instantaneous. It's as good as anything else you'll find on the market. But technically, it's still a corner cut. Now, on the flip side, the selfie camera, it was 10 megapixels on the S21 series. Here it's 32 megapixels. Now, megapixels aren't everything, but there is a little bit more detail, technically at least. End of the day, what we have here is a phone that has a slightly larger display than the S21. Also a higher capacity battery, 4500 milliampere compared to 4000. Now the charging speeds are exactly the same, whether it's wired, wireless or reverse wireless, it's all the same, no changes there. The selfie camera, higher resolution, but on the flip side, we've got plastic here. The third camera, that's 8 megapixels, so no 8K. And then we are also losing out on the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner. So when you look at it closer, the trade-offs aren't all that much. So is this a phone you should actually pay attention to? Is this something you should just ignore? That's going to be largely dependent on which market you're looking at it from. Because pricing, you know what I said, we'll talk about at the start of this video. We'll get to that. Now in the United States, this phone is priced at $699. At least currently, as of now, on Amazon, the S21, it's priced at $799. Now in the UAE, this phone is priced at 2699 dirhams. But the S21 is already available at the same price or even cheaper. So if you're looking at it from a market like the UAE, I'd say forget about it. Just get the S21 instead. Now if you're in the United States and you had to pay $100 more for the S21, then this might make sense to you. Now in India, the S21 sells for 65,000 rupees. The S21 FE's price, at least as of making this video, has not been announced yet. But rumors indicate it's going to launch at around 55,000 rupees. If there's a 10,000 rupee difference, then yay, this is an amazing option. You know, you should probably look at this instead of the S21. Especially in a market like India, where one of the phone's biggest competitors, the Google Pixel 6, has no foothold, no presence. The S21 FE, it seems like a good deal if they manage to launch it at 55,000 rupees. Now the S21 FE was supposed to launch late last year, but chip shortages have meant that it's gotten pushed. But this seems to be very bad timing because the S22 launch is just around the corner, and generally when the S22 launches, the S21 prices get cut. So the question here is, will the S21 get cut a lot more, making it more affordable than the S21 FE's current asking price? Or will even the S21 FE get a price cut within a month or so? So the timing seems to be a little off with this one. Me personally, if I was gonna buy a phone today, I would choose neither of the S21 or the S21 FE. I'd probably give it a little bit of time, see what Samsung does with the S22, what price that comes in at, and if we are getting any price cuts around that point before going for it. But anyways, This is just a first impressions video. These are my first impressions. What do you guys think? Do you have anything to add? Would you actually consider buying a S21 series phone today and not wait for the S22? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. And with that, we are at the end of this video. Thumbs up, thumbs down, you know what to do. Subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, my name is Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.